Today on Judge Faith, repeated attempts to help out a longtime friend turn into nothing but problems.
Between the cat and the girlfriend, the fighting, my father said enough, like he has to go.
Have you given her dad any money?
I honestly don't remember giving him any money since I moved out because
you didn't give him any money
I would
when
ask
you moved
him.
out.
I would ask him over and over, how much do I owe you?
Stop.
I need
Just
to know
stop.
a total.
Just stop.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiffs Shane and Stacy Vatanapan say they sold their longtime friend a car and even rented him a spare room in their home. But the defendant never fully paid them back. They are suing for back rent, money owed for a car, and car repairs. Defendant James D'Amico says the car he purchased from the plaintiffs broke down, and the room he rented was really just an unfinished converted garage. He says he doesn't owe them any money.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Vatanapan versus D'Amico.
Thank you, Barbara. Stacy Vatanapan?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are suing the defendant, Jimmy D'Amico?
Yes.
For $3,000. You say he owes you for back rent, money for a car, and repairs for the car?
Yes, Your Honor. He actually owes my father, yes.
Okay, you're also a co-plaintiff in this case, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll start with you, Ms. Vatanapan. Tell me what's going on. How do you know the defendant?
I've known the defendant since we went to junior high school together, like 8th grade, 9th grade. And so, you know, through growing up, we helped each other a lot. And in the year of 2012, in August, I said, hey, my dad's, has a guest house. It's not occupied. He doesn't really need anyone there. But if you need a place, I can ask my father if he's willing to let you stay there until you figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. My father said, okay, well, we could help him out for a few months. It'd be a month-to-month thing. He only charged him $500 a month.
It was a guest house?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it? How many bedrooms and bathrooms?
Just a single studio with its own bathroom and an outdoor kitchen that he had set up.
So you cooked outside?
Actually, no, Your Honor, and it wasn't a guest house. It was a converted garage that Shane had converted himself. He put up drywall, he did the painting, the patching, and everything was not pretty at all,
So it was a converted garage?
It was an addition to the garage that he converted, yes.
All right.
In any case, whether it was pretty or not, he stayed there from August 2012 till January 2013.
Part of your lawsuit is for back rent, so what was the issue with the rent?
By the time that my father had asked him to leave, he pretty much got kicked out because his girlfriend had been staying there, living there, the last few months before my father kicked him out, and they were arguing a lot at nighttime, like after 9 p.m., being loud. And so
what was going on? Did you move your girlfriend in?
I did not move her in. She actually would come and stay quite a bit because she had her own place to live, but, we were very close. We'd been together for a long time at that point, and she'd come over to my house for a few days, and I'd take her back home.
Did you know that the plaintiff would have a problem with your girlfriend being there?
They never expressed that to me, that it was a problem of her coming over to visit. At times, though, we would get a little loud. My girlfriend at the time was a heavy drinker, so she would get a little bit out of hand, and that was on my side of it. I would tell her, if you're gonna act like this, you cannot come around here. You're jeopardizing my place to live.
Right, exactly. Did they ever approach you and say, listen, it's a problem, you and your girlfriend are arguing, it's disturbing our sleep at night, you gotta do something about this?
Well, of course, yes.
And what did you do about it?
I told her she can't come around anymore, she's causing too many problems. And after that, she never came back around, but I still was on my way out because we had already agreed that I was going to be moving out.
She wasn't just coming over and spending 3-4 nights a week there. She was receiving mail there. And my father is still receiving both of their mail there.
Wait, your girlfriend was receiving mail?
Actually, I had asked if it would be okay for her to get some mail there because at her parents' house, they're the type of people that would get her mail, they would rip open her mail, throw it away. She never got her mail. And in retrospect, I should have just got her a P.O. box. That would have been easier than having it go there.
Coming up on Judge Faith, a furry feline causes even more trouble.
I had asked if I could have a cat.
My father hates cats. He's always hated cats since I was a little baby, because we used to have cats.
What happened with the cat?
Plaintiffs Shane and Stacy Vatanapan are suing a longtime family friend for back rent, money owed for a car, and car repairs. Defendant James D'Amico says the room he rented from the plaintiffs was actually an unfinished converted garage. He says since the plaintiffs kicked him out, he doesn't owe anything.
What I thought I was getting kicked out over was actually about my cat. I had asked if I could have a cat.
My father hates cats. He's always hated cats since I was a little baby, because we used to have cats. So when he told me he was getting a cat, I was quite shocked. I said, are you sure my father's okay with this? Because that's one animal he does not like. And he said, yeah. He said it was fine. So he went and got this kitten. And sure enough, I keep getting phone calls from my stepmother about this cat, saying that they didn't want it there. So I said, Jimmy, look, you need to find that cat a home. If you need my help to find it a home, to relocate it, let me know. But the cat stayed. Between the cat and the girlfriend, the fighting, my father said, enough, like he has to go.
What happened with the cat?
I had approached Shane and said I was thinking about getting a cat because the girlfriend, we weren't together and she was barely coming over at all. And I didn't want to be alone, and I work really crazy hours, so I couldn't have a dog. So I asked if I could have a cat. I approached Shane himself and said, can I get a cat? And he's like, I don't really like cats. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get this kind of cat, short hair, female, all that, and she'll never go outside. And he's like, okay, but don't let my wife see.
Sir, would you step over to the lectern? Did you tell Mr. Jimmy that he could have a cat in his apartment as long as he kept it quiet?
I tell him, if you want the cat, you can have it, but safe inside. It's not go outside.
Right, stay inside, not outside.
Stay inside
all right.
all the time. But the cat sit on the
And
window.
basically keep it secret from your wife?
Yeah, something like that.
He was trying to be the peacekeeper, you know? He was trying to keep the peace between him and his wife and his, you know, and her son.
I always protect Jimmy all the time with my family.
What kind of tenant was Jimmy? Did he cause you a lot of problems living there?
Not a lot of problem, but sometimes make a lot of noise.
Right, wake you up at night?
Yeah, my wife waking up, she said, that's enough.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. So you said at the end of the time period before you asked him to leave, he didn't pay a couple of months of rent?
Your Honor, it was not just the back rent of 3 months.
Did you not pay rent for 3 months?
He had asked for $500 a month.
Right.
But I told him I would rather pay him on a weekly basis because I work seasonal work.
Were you behind 3 months on rent?
Yes, I was behind when eventually I moved out. Part of that was, like I said, I work seasonal work, and I ended up moving out in like February, and this time of year between basically Halloween to February, I get slow, and I let them know that.
Okay, but you
Okay.
you admit that you were behind 3 months
At the
on
time that I
rent.
moved out, yes, I was behind.
So what's your defense to not owing the 3 months of back rent?
Honestly, it was just, I kept asking him, how much do I owe you? How much do I owe you? There was a lack of communication between him and I over the last couple of years.
Okay, it's $1,500. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds about right, yes, because Halloween, November, December, January are my slow months. Really slow when it comes to construction industry.
What do you do, sir?
Different forms of construction. I'm a locksmith. I also do custom audio, video.
And how are you a locksmith?
I actually went to school to become a locksmith for 5 years, equivalent of 5 years.
You have to go to school for 5 years to be a locksmith?
You don't have to, but I chose to further my education in that way.
So you have a PhD in locksmith?
Basically, you could look at it that way.
That's longer than I had to go to school to be a lawyer.
Pretty much you could look at it that way. I have multiple certificates and multiple years of training to be that locksmith.
Really? Because when I got locked out of my car, I just used a hanger. And it worked just fine.
And
you
you
telling me you went to school for 5 years?
So, Your Honor,
All right,
just going back to what he was saying, he didn't move out, he was kicked out. And besides the back rent for 3 months, he also bought a car from my father. It was a 1995 Mitsubishi Montero.
When did he buy that?
He bought it, I think, the fifth month into him living there.
Yeah.
He didn't have a vehicle because the vehicle I sold him prior to him
So
moving
hold on
in.
for a second.
The car we haven't talked about yet, that's a whole other issue.
So what happened? So you had a DUI and crashed your car?
Even though he crashed the car I sold him, he still owed me money for that car that he crashed.
So the first car you got the DUI in, you also bought from?
I bought
me.
from Stacy, yeah.
From Stacy? Okay, and then you buy a second car from them.
From my father.
After you move into the guest house. And you
Yes.
crashed that one too?
No, that car, I had a setup with him to where I was making him payments towards the car.
What was the agreed upon price that you would pay for it?
$1,500. I was paying towards the car and the rent, and then my work slowed down, so the money that I'd paid towards the car got converted towards some of the back rent, things like that. So it was a big jumble.
Who
of
was
almo-
converting that, you?
Both of us. We had put the total together of I owe you this much, and then that's where we got to today. There was a miscommunication between Shane and I on exactly how much money is owed because of the car. I had it for, I don't know, 6 months or 8 months, and then I'm driving to work on the freeway one day, and the car literally blows up on me. Like, it's like out of a Hollywood movie where there's giant steam and smoke and everything coming out of the car at 6 o'clock in the morning. Called up Shane and said, hey, well, what do you want to do? The engine is blown up, and when you sold it to me, you told me you just had the engine rebuilt. So how is it you just had the engine rebuilt, now it's the engine blown up on me? And I said, what do you want to do? I could turn around, I can sell it for $800 or $1,000 and pay you that money. He's like, no, 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 I want to take the car back. And he came with a tow truck and took the car back from me.
At that point, you owe $1,100 left in your payments for the car, but you say because he took it back, he now owns the car and you feel you don't have to pay for it?
Actually, like I said, it's been miscommunication. I've been asking him over and over, what do you want me to pay for you? Because I had the car for X amount of months. I think it was like 8 months.
You paid $400 towards the car.
Okay.
So you subtract that from $1,500, that leaves $1,100.
But he did take the car back from me, physically took the car.
Okay, I understand that,
Yeah.
but you just told me it was a miscommunication. You didn't know how much you owed.
Yeah.
Does $1,100
well,
sound?
that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next on Judge Faith.
If you went to school for 5 years to be a locksmith and you can't pay rent, I'm just saying you may need to find another profession.
Plaintiffs Shane and Stacy Vatanapan helped out their friend but were never paid back. They're suing for back rent, money owed for a car, and car repairs. Defendant James D'Amico says he got confused and doesn't really know how much he owes, if anything.
Now I know a little bit more about the history of this relationship and why you and your family decided to help him out. What made you at this point, what made you decide to sue him?
From the time that he got kicked out, I had been in communication with him because he still owed me money from the car that he bought from me, and I kept constantly sending him, look, I know you're in financial hardship. It doesn't matter if you pay $20 a month. Whatever payment arrangement you can make with my father, you need to make that, and you need to make it now. You have not called him. It's been now, at the time I said, it's been 4 months. He hasn't heard a word from you. And he never made a call to my father. And that's the point when I said, you know what, it's now 2014, I'm taking you in.
What do you have to say to that?
I say that that's not true. I repeat over and over again that
since you moved out, sir, have you given this family or her dad any money?
Since I moved out, honestly, I don't think so.
No.
I don't remember.
The answer is no.
No, because I honestly don't remember giving him any money since I moved out because
you didn't give him any money when you moved out.
I would ask him over and over, how much do I owe you?
Stop.
I need to
Just
know
stop.
a total.
Just stop. If you went to school for 5 years to be a locksmith and you can't pay rent, I'm just saying you may need to find another profession. I want to ask you about something you wrote in your answer. You said that there were issues living in the converted garage.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Okay, the converted garage, let's say he saved himself when he converted it maybe 5 feet of space on one side where the garage door would open up to use as storage. He's got paint, he's got oil, he's got all kinds of chemicals and stuff that are always back there, and I've never had allergies in my life. And then as soon as I move in there, within a few months, I start to have really bad running eyes, my nose is running. I don't know, I've never had allergies in my life, and to this day, I still have health issues from living in that place.
That's not true, Your Honor. He's always had allergies as long as I've known him.
Well, here's
Okay.
Well, I mean, you are a smoker, right?
I am a smoker, yes.
I mean, that may have something to do with it.
And then there was another issue there. There was no heat provided in this place.
How did you heat the unit?
I had to go get a heater and heat the unit. Really, that's when the issues came up with me needing to leave and getting behind on rent is, oh my God, my bills went up so much. I'm like, well, I'm freezing back here. It's a converted garage with no insulation, and you didn't even provide a heater for me.
Who did the garage conversion? Who built that?
My friend and me built it.
Did you ever have it inspected by the city, and did it pass? Because when you convert a garage into a living space, that's governed by, in your jurisdiction, is governed by numerous codes and regulations. Did you ever have that space inspected by the city?
No, normally those houses that I live, they already converted. They already have a bedroom in the garage.
So it was already converted
Yes.
when you moved into this home?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did additional construction?
Just a little bit addition in that room.
Was he your first tenant that lived in there
Yes,
as a renter?
my dad had, like I said in the beginning, he'd never rented it out. He was
Right.
just helping him out. And
Right.
all that he did was make it look pretty. He just put pretty paint on it, put it in the sink in, you know, he made it look pretty because Jimmy needed a place to live.
Right, so normally this isn't a place that you
No.
rent to. You don't have anyone renting
No.
that space from you
Never.
now. I understand. The only reason why I ask, when you convert a garage into a living space, it has to be properly ventilated, proper heat. And normally I understand you use this as a guest house where people come and stay, but if you're going to lease it to someone, it has to pass city codes.
I understand completely, and he
Okay.
understands too. No,
Okay.
no one's ever lived there until he was
Right.
there.
Listen, I think he owes the money for the rent, but in your jurisdiction, the law is I can't award and force someone to pay back rent unless you have proof that a converted garage space has been converted into a habitable living space and it's passed city codes.
Right.
Do you have any proof that it's been inspected or that it's up to city codes?
We're not sure because when he bought the house, it was in existence. It was there.
Right, it was already there.
It was already there, and
Okay.
it's something we've never looked into because we've never intended to rent
Right,
it out.
right, I
So
understand.
That's something I don't know.
Okay. What is the $400 you're suing for car repairs?
It was actually more than that, Your Honor. My father has spent about $1,400 now into fixing the engine and transmission of the car that he owes money for.
Why do you think he's responsible for fixing the engine?
He had the car for almost 8 months. He blew up the engine, an engine that my father had
What
rebuilt.
year car was
95.
this? Why do you think he's responsible though for your dad didn't have to take the car back or fix the engine?
He bought the car from my father.
Right,
It was
so
a
he
verbal
needs to pay
agreement.
for it, that's for sure.
It was a verbal agreement of this purchase.
Right. But when the car blew up, your dad took the car back and decided to make repairs to it, which he did not have to do. Why is he legally responsible for the repairs that your dad made
Because
to the
right
car?
now, my father does not own the car. The pink slip ownership is still in his name. So this is something the two of them perhaps didn't communicate. Like, is he gonna take the car back once it was repaired? This is something I don't know what the two of them were going to do with
Right.
it.
So legally, I can't order him to pay for repairs to the car that your dad took back and he decided on his own volition to make
I
those
understand.
repairs. First, I commend you for coming into court and representing your father in this lawsuit and having his back with your friend who you decided to help out and move into your family's living space. You kind of need to get it together, all right? You're 37 years old, you're hopping around, basically couch surfing at 37 years old.
I understand. At the time,
You say you went to locksmith school for 5 years. I've never heard of such a thing.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
I was trying to find another way to award you for additional money I think he owes you. That's why I asked you about the other car. Because my mind tells me one thing in this case, my heart tells me another. My heart tells me you guys are, the things you do, it's coming from a good place, right? And this is someone who is taking advantage of your kindness. But he owed you for one car before, and then you say, oh, I let him work off his debt. And then the next thing, he's moving into your guest house. And without proof that that house is up to code, I can't order him to pay back rent. It's like you're getting over once again. It's unfortunate. I am going to order him to pay the $1,100 for the car. You purchased the car as is. Even if he took it back, you had an agreement to pay for the car, and it should have been paid for by the time the car blew up, as you say, anyway, so you're still responsible for that. You have excuses for everything. That's a part of the problem, and I think by the time your friends have to sue you and bring you to court, you're burning bridges that you can't afford to burn. So it really bothers me because my hands are tied in this case because of the law, unfortunately. But at some point, you have to cut ties with people who claim to be your friends, but they're clearly taking advantage of you and your family. Judgment in this case, $1,100 plus court costs for the plaintiff. Good luck.
Thank you.